everybody. I am in the middle of making a potato salad again. I only make them like maybe 3 times a year, 3, 4 times. Um, but it was requested for Easter, which is tomorrow, Easter Sunday. It was requested if I could make and bring my potato salad. So I know I did it about a year ago, but I am going to go through it again and we're going to compare the recipe because I do not have quantities written down. I just go by, the way I feel. So we're going to do it again and compare it to last year's recipe and see if I made it the same way or if I've altered it, or you know what I mean? So, we start off with potatoes. Now, over here, right here, so we've got 5 pounds of yellow potatoes. This is Co-op brand, Cooperators. So there you go. That's what I'm using, the whole bag. You peel them, rinse them, and a lot of these I've already cut in half because one of the potatoes on the side had a black spot from a worm tunneling. So that's usually, well, quite often I do anyways. I cut them in half, make sure the centers are good before I go to the next step, which I did miss a few here, but that's okay. Then I take the halves, cut, then that way. Now, if this is feeding small children, you do not want humongous pieces. That one's okay. See, this one's kind of thick and big, so I'll just cut it in half again. Because remember, kids have a smaller mouth than we do. So you don't want them, actually I'm going to do that one in half too. You don't want them to be too big. And so you will chop it all up into bite-sized pieces, dice it I guess. And then you put it in a pot of water on the stove. Nice big pot. And right now it's not turned on. It's just cold water in a pot. We're going to cut them, put them in the pot. Then we're going to turn the stove on once they're all in there. We're going to turn the stove on. And then when the water gets warm, like really, really warm, almost hot, we will then put the salt in because salt will wreck your pots. At least that's what I was told growing up. You never put salt in the water until the water is really, really warm, because then the salt dissolves instantly. And then when the potatoes boil, they'll actually absorb the salt water. If you do it in cold water, you could wreck your pots on the bottom. Now, granted, nowadays we have better quality pots, but I don't know. That's the way I was taught. That's the way I do it. Wait till it's really warm, add the salt, and then cook it. And I will be back when that's done. Okay, so it is really hot. You can see the steam. If you put your finger in, whoa, it is hot. So we're now going to put a bunch of salt in it. Now remember, these are potatoes. They need a lot of salt. And salt will dissolve right away. It'll be in the water. And it's the salt water that's cooking the potatoes, so it'll take some of the salt. So if I put a little too much, it's okay. Maybe a little more. So now we're just going to let it go until when you poke it with a fork, it's smooth going in, but preferably the potato does not break apart. Now, yellow potatoes are a firmer potato. I'm going to put it down to medium. And we'll see where it goes from there. Yeah, so yellow potatoes are a firmer potato. So in about 15 minutes, I'll come poke it with a fork. And if the bubbles are getting too intense, I will lower it another notch. So when the fork goes in smooth, but does not break the potato. If it does break it, oh well, take it out right away. Strain it. But if it doesn't break, but it does go in smooth, then we can turn it off and strain it. And I will be back at that time. Okay, so now we're going to check. You're going to poke it with a fork. And it went in smoothly, but it did not fall apart, which is good. Try a couple more pieces. See? It lifts. It's good. You want to grab the bigger pieces. You don't want to poke the smaller ones because they'll be cooked before the bigger ones. There we go. Went in smoothly. We'll try this one too. Again, went in smoothly, did not fall apart. This is why I love yellow potatoes, because they are, they stay firm longer. Even though they're cooked, they're still firm. Whereas I used to make it with white potato, and with white potato, or even russet, I believe, what happens is they fall apart. And then when you go to mix it up, you got to be super gentle, because otherwise it turns to mush. Now we're not doing mashed potatoes, we're doing potato salad, so we want them firm. So this is why I love the yellow potatoes. Now, I'm going to put my strainer in the sink, turn the stove off, and we're just going to drain the potatoes now. Now, all the equipment, I did wash it all, because when you peel potatoes, because of the oxidation, everything that has the starches from the potato on will go black. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of a black residue. I just rinsed it under hot water to get rid of the starch from the potatoes. So when I chop up the next things, I don't know, to me it just gross. So now, I don't know, are you focused over here? All right, so there's my bowl. Potatoes are draining in the sink. We're gonna dump it in there. This is my bowl I'm gonna be doing the potato salad in. So there you go. Whole bunch of potatoes. I think I did do it a little long, because if you look, there is some that are falling apart. So maybe, I've been trying to put the clock in the view on every stage. So I don't know what the clock was at previously, but I would say maybe even 10 minutes earlier, I should have already checked it. So when I go to edit this video, I will see what the clock said. And then in the description, when I put the recipe, I'll add in the time frame. I'll take off 10 minutes from this. So let's say 1 o'clock, I should have already checked it and possibly take it out, because this was a little bit too long. But that's fine. So now the next step is, I did go and look. I hand wrote, because I don't know, yeah. The recipe from last year, I had put it in the description. I copied it, hand wrote it, and I looked at it, and it said to add all the other ingredients at this point. Well, I don't agree with that. What I did a year ago, I don't agree with it. it needs to go in the fridge because when the starches get cold, it kind of firms up the potatoes and it makes it better for mixing. It's still not going to take away the softness if you overcooked it, but it needs to be cold. You don't want the ingredients you're going to add to get warm. Like imagine pickle juice in with hot potatoes, because that is one of the ingredients. Mayonnaise being heated up by the potatoes. So we're going to stick this in the fridge. It'll take probably about 2 hours. We're going to let it cool. In about half hour to an hour, I'll go check if I feel any heat radiating. When I don't feel the heat radiating, I will mix it up to make sure all parts are getting cooled down. You do not want it to freeze. You are just trying to accelerate the cooling process. All right, and then I will be back for the next step. And while the potatoes are cooling in the freezer, I just checked on them. It's been about half hour, and the centers is still, you can feel the heat. So while that's still going, I am now cutting everything up. Now the celery, 2 celery stalks, cut length as narrow as you can. If you can cut down the length like 3-4 times, make it as small as possible. Then you take your knife, you gather it together and you cut it as small as possible. Celery, you want it really fine. I have my mandolin. Anyways, and I'm just rocking it, making the celery smaller. Now it's not a perfect method. There'll always be some you'll miss, so some will be a little bit bigger, but just try and make it as small as possible. Turn the cutting board if you need to, and just rock it. And then I'm wiping it down, turn it around again, and go again. Now after you've done this 3 or 4 times, like a few times, I will kind of spread it out and look at it. There's still some more on this side, so do it again on this side. Like I said, it's not a perfect method. You just want the celery as small as possible because it's celery, and celery can be a bit bitter. So you want the flavor there. You just don't want a big piece of it in your mouth. You know what I mean? So I try, sometimes you'll go in, if there's just one in that area, just cut it in half with the tip of the mandolin. There. All right. So that's the celery. And I have a bowl here where I'll put everything into. I do have multiple cutting tools when I do this. So I have a small knife, which is good like to cut the ends on your vegetables. This one that I use like to slice up the green onions, for the celery, the lengthwise. Same with the pickles, you cut it up small. And then you have your mandolin, which is a lot easier. You rock it and make it even finer, more like a minced. And so I will cut off the ends, take off the outer layer, clean up these, and slice them with the knife, and then I'll be back. So I just had an idea. What I'm going to do is I was going to take my scale, but it needs to be charged. So I took a 1 cup measuring cup, and so it shows 3/4 cup, 2/3 of celery, minced celery. So what I'll do is I'll do it in my measuring cup, and then that way you can see how much I'm actually using. So there's the celery. Now I have to finish chopping up or slicing up the green onions, and then I'll do the same with that. All right, so here's the green onions. It's somewhere between a 1/2 cup and 2/3. I'd say probably a 1/2 cup. So the celery was, let's say 2/3, 3/4, and this one's 1/2 cup. Next, I'll do the pickles, and I'll be back. All right, I've done the pickles, and whoops, wrong side. It's just under a cup. See, just slightly under, between 3/4 cup and 1 cup. And this was about 6 or 7 baby pickles, baby dill pickles. Now I do buy the pickles that have the garlic. If you can find garlic and dill, a bonus, because we like the dill. So I will put this in here with the celery and the green onion. Now the only reason why I'm doing it in here is because we're still waiting for the potatoes to cool. Otherwise, you could just put it right in with the potatoes. But yeah, it kind of gives me the opportunity to pre-mix it too, you know what I mean? So no losses. I do cut off the stems. That's where it was attached to the vine. I do cut off the ends. All right, so now we still need the pickles. So I will not put it away in the fridge because we're going to need some juice when we make the mayonnaise mix to blend it all. We will be adding some pickle juice. So I will keep this out. So now it's the garlic coil. I will chop up half of it first and see how much I get. Basically, you want equal amounts of these veggies and the meat. So the meat will go up to here, maybe a little bit more than the veggies in meat. Because don't forget, you've got 2 pounds of potatoes. And once I cut up the veggies, I will show you the potatoes should be ready by then. It should be nice and cool. And so I'll put them all side by side so you can see the ratio. All right, I'll be back when I'm done cutting up the garlic sausage. Oh, I forgot to mention the garlic sausage. Make sure it's a fine one. I should probably show you. This one should be the fine one. I always buy it from our co-op because I know theirs is fine. I've bought it since the kids were little. But let's just make sure. Oh, no. See that? That's not fine. So they've altered their recipe. It should look all like this meat color. You should not see chunks of fat. You should not see chunks of meat or grizzle or anything. It should be all smooth like that pink part. You can use this, and I will. But just so you know, you want the fine one. The fine one means it all looks like that. It's all, like ground up. But we will use this one because that's what I have. And if you prefer the ones with the chunkier pieces of meat in it, then by all means use it. But the one my mom used was thoroughly processed, and it was just like that pink part. Anyways, I will chop it up and I'll be back. I wanted to mention, for the meat, I cut it down in half, and then I will cut it in half again, right? So it's like quarters, and then you just slice it. Because like everything, I guess, basically is different sizes. The celery is minced the smallest. The green onion is pretty much sliced thinly. The pickles are cut like this also, down this way, then you go down this way. It's the same with the pickles, but and then you slice it. But then with the pickles, I will go a little bit with the mandolin, so that the bigger pieces are smaller, but it's not finely minced like the celery. Celery is the smallest. I guess then you would say the green onion, the pickle's a little bit bigger than either of those. And then this, you want to be able, you don't want a big piece in your mouth because you're going to have a big piece of potato, but you want a smaller size in your mouth. Now, those of you who are vegetarian or vegan, I know this part will gross you out. Substitute it with something else. You know, like, I don't know, I have never tried putting like beans in the salad, like black bean or, you know, like chickpea or lentil. I don't know. What else do you guys eat? Tofu maybe will work. You just got to try and see what works for you. We've always had it this way. This is the way my mom did it. Being German, they have their different processed meats that they eat. So this is what I'm used to. So do whatever. If you want to make it without and don't put any meat in, you could probably do that too. Maybe you want to chop up some celery or kale and put it in. That might work. Remember, it's basically vegetables. You got meat, potato, and a bunch of vegetables. So have fun with it. You know what I mean? There is no steadfast rule. This, you know, some people put eggs in it. I can't take eggs. My girls don't like it with eggs, probably because I've never made it with eggs. But that's another option. You just do you. And yeah, it looks like half of this sausage is good. Because I have some in here because I wanted to measure it out. But if you look at the sausage, I used half of it. Yeah, so this is I don't usually pack it down when I measure, but looks like it's a little bit more than 2 cups. Because this is a different measuring cup from the other ones. This is a 2 cup, so that's 2 cups, and it's a little bit more, if you can see that. So it's about two and a quarter cup. And so we'll just put it in there. I pulled out the 2 cup measure because I want to use that for the mayonnaise and pickle juice and the spices. So let's see now. There you go. So yeah, you got that much veggies up to this tint, and then you've got the meat. So yeah, the meat is twice as much as all the veggies. So there's the proportions. I am going to go check on the potato now, and then we can dump this into the bowl with the potatoes. Lightly mix it up, not too much, and then I'll come back and show you the sauce also. But that's all the chopping and the prepping. I just wanted to show you, I did a couple slices, and there you go, there's the meat. I did taste a piece, and the flavor is right. It does have a very fine texture taste to it, and it's very mild, which is what you want. So yeah, even though it has chunks of fat in it, which is what I am assuming white is, it's chunks of fat. I guess if you wanted to, you could like put it through the air fryer or the microwave. Like when you cut it in half and then in half again, so you got those strips, you could probably air fry it and melt that fat and then take paper towel and take it off. So it will reduce the amount of fat, but it's a processed meat. It will contain fat. But the flavor is right. The texture is right. So even though, like I said, it has the chunks, it is okay. And then I pulled out the potatoes. I did overcook the potatoes. I only mixed it, like I went with the spoon a few, maybe 6-7 times, and the potato is falling apart. So I did overcook it. So I will go back in the video and look at the clock on my stove to get an indication of how long it was boiling. I have done this whole chopping and cutting and cooling the potatoes over roughly about 2 hours. I've been at it on and off. I have taken breaks in between. So next is the sauce, and I'm gonna go check that time first, and I'll come back and let you know, and then we'll do the sauce. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like so far. All right, so I've covered now the potato salad. And I have now started to do the sauce ingredients. I'll move you over here. So I swear by Hellman's. I was brought up on Hellman's. This is Walmart's equivalent to it. I checked the ingredients on both of them, and these two are pretty much the same. I don't like the other one, the Miracle Whip, only because it has a lot of vinegar in it, and this one contains the egg, which improves the flavor of the mayonnaise. Yeah, it's barely any protein, so there's not much egg in it, but there's less vinegar, and that's why I prefer this. So we got 1 cup of mayonnaise, which I use this, but the bottle's almost empty, so I ended up adding this. So it's kind of like a quarter of this and then 3/4 cup of this, but in total it's 1 cup. And then I have 1/2 cup of the now this one does not have dill in it. Actually, hold on. Yeah, it seems like they don't mark on the label. This one marked garlic because it's mostly garlic. But we are going to be adding dill, so ooh, there's turmeric extract in this one. Cucumber water. Oh, did I mention make sure that the pickles are firm when you take it out? I got one that was really soft, and I tasted it, and it was full of vinegar, and you don't want that in your salad. Anyway, so I got a 1/4 cup, no, 1/2 cup of the pickle juice, which I am going to, where am I? Am I way out of your view? There we go. Okay, so we're going to pour this in. So it's 1 cup of mayo, 1/2 cup of pickle juice, and basically You're just mixing it. You want it to blend so it's nice and creamy. There we go. So it's almost the consistency of milk. See, it's like dripping. It's not staying on the... It's nice. All right, so that's done with. Now, we add dry mustard. We don't want the vinegar. We prefer the vinegar through the... Okay, there's a little in the mayonnaise, but we prefer it through the pickles because it has flavor. We don't want vinegar from any other source. No white vinegar at all. So we got dry mustard, except I forgot to grab a spoon. All right, so this is 1 tablespoon. No, I think that would be too much. Let's go for a teaspoon. So 1 teaspoon. There we go, pretty much straight. Okay, dry mustard is done. Then paprika. Now, as you know, I love my paprika. I put it on everything. And I think we're going to do another teaspoon of that. On the last video, I used a shaker. I didn't measure. So this time we're going to measure another 1 teaspoon. So the paprika and the dry mustard are equal amounts. Garlic. Are you as crazy of garlic as I am? I love my garlic. 1 flat teaspoon. So 3 spices that are 1 teaspoon. All right, so now we've got dill. Maybe a half a teaspoon with dill. No, you know what? Dill has good flavor. Let's go with a whole teaspoon. It is a pretty big bowl. So 1 teaspoon. And then the parsley, same thing. You know what? We'll just do everything 1 teaspoon. Because you know what? Once it soaks overnight and we taste it tomorrow, actually the salt and pepper, I'm going to wait till the end to taste. So we'll just mix this. Tomorrow we will check the flavors and if anything needs to be added, and we can alter the recipe at that point. I'll see if my girls will review the potato salad. See, technically what I could have done was mix this all up yesterday and then stuck it in the fridge yesterday so that the flavors blend. So right now I could be taking a teaspoon, tasting it, see if the flavor is right, and then adding to it before I put it into the potato salad. But, you know, these are just options. Whatever is comfortable for you. I prefer doing it the day before we eat it. And I like simple recipes, which is why 1 teaspoon of each of the spices. Anyway, so now we're going to pour it on top. And we did not pour it all in because we're going to mix this up. I'm going to move you over. We're going to mix this up and see if we need more. Which is why I like doing the sauce in a separate container. Because if you don't need that much, then we're not going to put it all. I am going to put it all. And maybe that half a cup of pickle juice should have been 1/3 cup. because it made everything very watery. So maybe 1/3 cup. But we'll see how it is. There. It's all mixed up. Everything is coated. If it's too watery, the extra juices will go on the bottom, right? So there we go. Done. Now, I know you like me to review it, and we will review it tomorrow. But without it soaking overnight, I will take a taste. There's a meat and a potato on that, and I will taste it. Yeah, the flavors are correct. So, actually, even the pickle juice is just perfect. Maybe a little bit more mayo. Potatoes are a little soft. Oh, I did look back on the video, and I did have the potatoes boiling for about 30 to 35 minutes. That's way too long. I should have put my microwave timer on and check it after 20. They cook pretty quick. They did not need 30 to 35 minutes. So my potatoes are a little soft. So when you boil your potatoes, 20 minutes, check it. So I'm going to stick it in the fridge, and then tomorrow at my daughter's, if they're willing, we'll all do a taste test and give a review. All right, I'll see you back tomorrow. Happy Easter to everybody, and I hope you have a lovely day. And I will talk to you tomorrow for a review, and then I will post it, the video, Monday or Tuesday. All right, everybody, see you tomorrow. Hello, everybody. This is the wrap up to that potato salad video I did. Forgive the dog across the street. When his family goes out, he just barks and barks and barks. So we're going to hear this for the whole time I do this wrap up. But we had a wonderful time at Easter. I forgot how funny my daughters can be. So we completely forgot to do the review. But everybody said they loved it. So I will include the recipe down below this time around, the recipe, because the last recipe, I did not have like cup and tablespoon in that. I don't think I had it. So I'm going to do a thorough run through of the recipe. Yeah, we had a great time at Easter. The last couple of days since Easter, because today's Wednesday, I've been just a goose without a head, running around the house doing all kinds of stuff. I stripped my bed. I did bedding, did a bunch of laundry, took down the Easter decoration that was on Monday. Went through my house plants. You know how bad I am at watering them. Well, some of my seedlings dried up, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to redo those seeds. So that is something I'm going to have to do either today or tomorrow. I did clear off this side table, but I pulled out all my electronics from the bedroom because I want just bedroom stuff in there. Eventually what I want to do is put my sewing in there and not take up the dining room table. And then this room will always be for paper crafts, like, you know, like smaller projects, painting and stuff like that. but I want to put all my sewing in my bedroom because that's where your clothes is. So anything you need to sew, it's nice to have the sewing machine there. I do have a case for both of my sewing machines, my mom's and mine. That's my end goal, is to have all the sewing, all material in my bedroom. So anything that is not, I'm slowly pulling out. And so now this electronics, basically electronics is office. So I'm trying to, put it in here. I also want to get rid of that cabinet, but that's like bit by bit, a long-term project. What else did I do? Oh, I cleaned my kettle. It was full of calcium and lime. Oh yeah, so the watering. I watered my house plants. Some of them started drying up, especially those little house plants I just got. So I went through all my plants, watered them all. And my seedlings, I went through them, watered them all. So now they're all good for today and tomorrow. My seedlings, of course, you have to water pretty much every day, except the ones in the paper towel and the Ziploc. Those, you do it once and then you're good. So yeah, there's lots for me to do. I made some buttered chicken with rice and broccoli yesterday. Oh, I wrote a little mini story. I don't know. I was sitting on my favorite chair having my coffee. Oh, talking about coffee. I didn't finish my morning coffee. I was sitting on my chair having my coffee, and this story popped in my head about a bunny who's mischievous, And I'm like, oh. And then he could do this, and then he does that, and then the farmer does this, and I'm like, oh, it reminds me of Peter Rabbit. But the story started in my head before I even thought of Peter Rabbit, and it's probably because I've got that bunny in my houseplant living room window there with all my houseplants. There's that bunny there, which is going to be staying there year round. And probably by sitting there looking at the bunny with all the flowers on him, it made me think of this story and about how, like, why would a bunny poop eggs? And then I thought of a story around it. And yeah, so I wrote a little mini story. And I don't know, in the back of my head, I'm thinking it's a pretty good story. I might see if I can publish it. But then you need illustrations, and I don't draw. So I don't know. We're gonna let it percolate for a while, and I do have to. I realize there's some contradictions in it. So, but mind you, if it's a kid's story, anyways, I'm going off on on and on and on. I wrote a little mini story. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I shoveled some more in the backyard. Like 15 minutes, not much. Because the deck got a little bit more snow, so I kind of pushed it to the edge of the deck so that when it melts, it goes right over. It's not like in the middle where it has to go through everything. It's all pushed up against the railing and the gate, so it'll melt and go right out. And then I did the pathway because he complained I didn't do a good job on the pathway. So I did a bit on the pathway, whatever wasn't ice. Yeah, so I've been keeping busy. Go, 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 go. So, oh yeah, I went through all my emails too. Oh my God, that was a chore. I think I had like 452 emails on my Hotmail account. Oh my God. And so I do have files, so I put the ones in the file that belonged in a file, and then what was left I started going through. There was a couple I unsubscribed to. Yeah, so that took me like a good probably like 3 hours, give or take. And then I went into my Gmail, which wasn't as bad, but I have a whole bunch of Clipchamp messages for the Clipchamp editing program. So I'm keeping those. I'm just getting rid of everything else. And so there's like 12 Clipchamp messages on my Gmail account, email account. And so now these are both my personal, so they won't be on YouTube. I use my YouTube Gmail account. But anyways, which is Angelica's Journal at gmail.com. I think I've been starting to mark them on my videos now. But anyways, so that way, if you want to send me a personal message and you don't want it to show up on the feed, you just email me directly to the Gmail account that's on the bottom of the description. If you email me directly to that Gmail account, then it does not show up on the feed. I believe it's a direct. That's my understanding. Anyways, okay. So, anyways, the potato salad was yummy. Yum, yum, yum. I did 5 pounds of potatoes, and when I saw it in my bowl, because my bowl can hold 10 pounds of potato salad, or potatoes in a salad, the 5 pound only filled it halfway, but it was enough because we didn't just have a whole bunch of potato salad. Like if we had burgers, we might have eaten more potato salad. But if you think of the serving sizes, we also had other dishes. So we took a little bit of everything, right? And then you had pie for dessert, or cupcakes. So there was, we were 8 people, and there was some potato salad left. Now, the next day, they probably finished it off. But 5 pounds is enough for 8 people, unless you don't have a lot of other dishes, like the main course and then your another salad and some more veggies and that. If it's just potato salad and then let's say burgers, 5 pounds would probably be no more than 6 people. Yeah, because the guys will probably want to eat more because they're meat and potato kind of people. Most of them, not everyone. So yeah, I did 5 pounds for 8 people in a full meal, part of a full meal, and there was leftovers. So there you have it. If you're doing that kind of thing where there's a bunch of different dishes, then 5 pounds probably could feed even 10 people. But if they're hungry potato salad people and there's not much else other than the meat, then you might need more. All right, and that's it. I hope everybody enjoyed their Easter. Comment down below. Let me know what you did for Easter. I'd love to hear, if you have a tradition or something, because I love to start traditions. Like this bunny story, I was thinking it. One of my girlfriends, when my girls were little, would tell my girls and her daughter, which her daughter knew it because she was older, the story of Persephone and the mythological, and how she would go down to the underground for 6 months of the year, and then she'd be above ground for 6 months of the year because her sweetheart, the man she loved, was underground and her father was above ground. So she would spend 6 months above ground and 6 months below ground. And anyways, she had the story so nicely explained for children and everything. And, I was thinking, you know what? These stories are just to get the kids' imagination going. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I was thinking this is a nice story too for Easter, because that was a spring story, Persephone. So for Easter, I could do this bunny story, and then my grandkids would have so much fun every holiday. Maybe come up with a story, and then for that holiday, well, this is the story that they're going to be told, and they'll pass it on like tradition, starting a tradition. And yeah, I love that idea. The kids just are, I love watching their reactions. Oh, what's going to happen now? And all this, excitement and anticipation, like, it's so adorable. Anyways, I'm going to try and, say goodbye again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you try the recipe. Let me know what you think down below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed, please do consider subscribing. It would help me out. And well, this channel, this community. So I have a long list of other things I need to do. See, long list. So I'm going to get on with it, and I will post this video. Sorry I didn't do it Monday or Tuesday, but we are Wednesday. It's only a day more. You know me. I don't have a schedule. It's whenever there's a video ready. Anyways, everybody, remember, do what makes you happy, and everything else will fall into place. All right, take care, everybody. See you on the next one.